Thank you for coming out on a Saturday. I know the MTA is always never really going our way directly. So, congratulations, everybody, for making it. My name is Monique Henry-Hudson. I am a graduate of the SVA Computer Art Department. I graduated in 2011. I'm a visual artist and illustrator. I write about animation on my website, Simply Robotics. And most recently, I was working for the past 2.5 years at Blue Sky Studios as a story production assistant. And that's where I met Dre and Matt. And right now, I am like figuring things out. And one way or another, I got an opportunity to create a Black in Animation panel for Blurred City Con in Brooklyn in July. And that led to the creation of Diverse Toons and having an opportunity to hear from people in the animation industry that you don't usually see, but who are definitely there contributing to a lot of our favorite cartoons and movies and things that we see and we consume often. So that way. Yeah. So before the panel officially started, I overheard some bit of conversation about what people are doing now to get into the industry. And I just would like for each of you to talk a little bit comparing your entryways with maybe do's and don'ts from getting into the industry now, or what you're seeing, or what you, I don't know, maybe advise to do less of or more of.
Well, you know something really like ironic? We were talking about like, don't just walk into an animation studio and ask for a job. And that's essentially how I got my first animation gig. But actually, no wait, this was in 1996. My sister, I just dated myself. I didn't even go myself. I had sent my sister. I'll explain. Okay, so she was, my sister's an amazing singer, and at the time she was working for a music publicity outfit that was in a small office, and she said next door, like a little animation studio moved into the, it was like one of those big kind of loft buildings that had a bunch of offices in. And I said, there's an animation studio next door, and by then I'd been like searching everywhere. Like, it was one of those things that I would go in, they always liked my work, and then they would say, oh, we like your work, but we can't hire you because you don't have any experience. So you got a chicken and the egg thing. It's like, how am I supposed to get experience if you don't want to hire me? So I got that so many times, but everybody really liked my work. So finally I said, oh man, could you go in there and just like get his info? And she said, I did better than that. I went in and introduced myself and said, hey, my sister's an animator. And he said, tell her to call me. So that was John Dilworth. So I gave him a call, but it was literally like my sister just walked in and said, my sister's an animator. And he was like in a teeny tiny studio about like a quarter the size of this room. And he said, great, tell her to call me. So it was like literally like, I didn't even walk in, I sent my sister, you know. But compared to nowadays, see, the thing is like, you guys are lucky because you have something that I didn't have. Like you have internet. Back in the day, I would have had to let me make copies of 10 VHS tapes and put my label on each one and then put them each into bubble wrap envelopes and put them all in the mail. And hopefully some studios, a couple studios, you might get lucky and have the studio send it back to you.
Send it back
and then real. Like nowadays, you have your stuff online. You could put up your portfolio website and say, here's my link, business card, links. Boom. Back in the day, I used to have like one of those books with the sleeves, and then you have to spend like.
But the thing that I just mentioned that is worth that money was like the bonds that I made with like my classmates, a bunch of whom were essential in some of the eventual opportunities I got. Like Blue Sky was hiring, and my buddy Paul was like, hey Munn, you still interested in Blue Sky? Like if he hadn't called me, I wouldn't have been aware that he was like, yo, we just had a bunch of people leave. They're hiring, they're looking for people with experience. This is the time. And because I know Paul, I don't have to go to the, like, you know, I don't have to go the traditional route. I just like, yo, here's my link. Get it to who, and he goes right to the supervisor. My man Matt is awesome. Check this link out. And the dude would be working, be like, oh, I'll look at it right now. Bam. Get them. You know what I mean? And it's because I wasn't an asshole. I was cool. So, you know what I'm saying? You collaborate on things with people, recognize that you need each other. Like this is a team sport. We don't make movies by ourselves. So the same, you know, aspect of, you know, the collaborative, you know, aspect of like working on a project in school is you apply those same things to, you know, the professional world. You got to be able to work with people. You got to be able to, like, when I'm working on a shot, be like, hey, Eric, Andy, yo, come here real quick, homies. Look at this. Like, what do I need? Oh, you should hold this for 2 more frames and then punch it here, and boom, that just takes it to the next level. But if I don't have those relationships and I'm not cool enough to like, you know, like tap into that, like I don't have, people don't mess with me like that or whatever, like I'm not drawing on all the best of the people around me, because like together we're way better than any of us are, you know, as individuals. So I say, to answer your question, don't be a jerk to people, work with people, you know, build those bonds that, you know, might carry out, you know, after beyond school and everything, and then just keep grinding on your stuff so you're, you know, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Because for me, when open season did that mass hire, I just happened to be working on my 10-second club thing. You feel me? Like if I was just doing my regular work on Delgo and not grinding, doing it, because I was doing the 10-second club stuff while I was working at Fathom. So I wasn't even in school. I was like doing an internship thing. So point is that I just happened to be in a great situation of being ready, so that when they were like, yo, we're doing a mass hire, I was like, my reel is already ready. There it is. What's up? You know what I mean? So I feel like you just stay hungry, grinding, you know what I mean? Honing your craft and, you know, making connections.
Be honest with who you are, because everybody's different. We all have our do's and don'ts. We all have our quirks, and you know what I mean? I think if you try to fit into some type of pocket, if you try to fit in, then you start to be someone else, and that's too expensive, right? Because if you're trying to fit into some type of mold, then when people find out that you're the real you, they might not like the real you. Now you gotta walk it back. Now you look like a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? So be who you are, and understand that the people that you're around, the fact that you're different from everybody else, is your currency. You know what I mean? The diversity of any studio, if you go to any studio or gaming company, the diversity is what makes it great. So believe me, you already fit there the way that you are. You know what I mean?
I want to ask one more question before I open it up for the audience.
Okay.
So the importance of, or what makes this panel different from a whole bunch of other animation panels is the panelists, right? We look, we convey ourselves differently from most of the people that we usually see. So by having you guys on here, I would like to ask, why is it important to have opportunities like this, to hear from voices like you all? Why is it important for people to come out to things like this, the significance for it?
I wouldn't have been able to answer that question a few years ago very effectively, and I'm not even sure if I could effectively answer it now, but it became important to me when I became an educator. And most of my students are like these beautiful brown faces looking at, okay, I'm gonna shut up now because I can't.
Oh.
It just, all I want to do is,
No, man.
all I want to do is empower them.
And you're gonna see as these, you know, the industry gets more and more diverse. What, you know, gender diversity is important too. Before, when I first started at Sony, we would have like 60 animators. It'd be like 2 women, literally. And now at Blue Sky, there's like it's like a way higher percentage of women animating, and that's a testament to like just how much more exposure people have to this stuff, and also this sense of like, yo, that's not necessarily a male thing to be an artist, you know what I mean, or that kind of artist, whatever. So point is that our films, our projects benefit from being able to have that diversity.
Jen, she's helping me out with the camera in the back, and we were both PAs in the story department. And in speaking about diversity with Spies in Disguise, the lead character played by Will Smith is Black, and Jen and I would have these conversations often where I would be like, a Black man actually wouldn't say something like that, you know? And that's why it's important to have the animators and things to come in with the antics and the movements with the actual gestures, more so true to character. And then also, we have women characters in this movie, and it's an action movie. And Jen and I also were talking about, she probably wouldn't keep her heels on with running. Like, she'd have to kick them off, or they'd break. They might have to convert or something.
Right.
Like, But that's the importance of having more women a part of the animation department, more women in part of story and things like that, because those are nuances that
Yeah.
get overlooked.
And then make it more authentic.
Yeah,
like, real.
like that was important with the Black Panther when
Mhm.
Lupita's character takes off her shoe. I'm like, yes, I would not keep
Yo,
my
that
shoe
scene where
on.
she whips up that wig, and when I was like, that was amazing. And then she goes, whoosh, and then she's like, that
Like
was
no man
so
had that idea.
Right.
That's not a man's.
Right.
A woman was like, "Yo, make her do that," and it made it.
I'll tell
That's
you,
a moment.
Watching my aunts though, yeah. You know, when I watched Black Panther, and she had the wig on. She was talking shit about the wig.
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, my aunts be like, yeah, they'll take their wigs off when it's yeah, that's what they call snatching wigs. For me, it's definitely important diversity because if you notice anytime, you know, we might like here, this looks diverse right here.
Mhm.
But then if you go into like writing rooms, you go into like the exec rooms, you go the people that actually have the power, it doesn't look like this, right? Let's be clear. True diversity to me is diversity of power. So a lot of times when people are talking about diversity, I think they're not really looking at the big picture. So I think for us, more people of color getting into this space is good, but also more people getting into like the director roles and the writing roles and the people that actually fund the films as well.
What would you say is the best way to like network and make those connections outside of school? Because I would love to be, you know, part of this art community,
Right.
the animation community, but it's really hard to do from.
You know, well, you can't make connections just like just hoping and stuff. I tell my students, I give them crap about this all the time. Go to stuff.
Yeah.
You have to go to industry events. Go to events like this.
Right.
Go to Animation Nights New York, which is coming up. Go to the ASIFA East Animation Festival. Go to receptions. Bring some damn business cards and meet people.
Great. So yeah, I was just gonna say there's a lot of Facebook groups that I've been actively a part of. I've put out calls for. I had friends looking for animators for music videos or for
Right,
web series
right,
and stuff
right, right.
like that. You utilize Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And
Right.
people have meetups and stuff like that. There are things like this. Connect with some people here afterwards. And there are so many animation related events and motion graphics and a whole bunch of stuff like that. I just came across like a women in VR group on Facebook, which is pretty interesting. So like you kind of have to do the grunt work in finding these things, but they exist. And then like everyone's been saying, like you can attend, you engage with people online. They're gonna start to, oh, I've seen this name before, and then they're gonna say, oh, well, here's the face for the username and things like that. And what you ultimately want, I say, is when an opportunity comes up, you want people to think of you. Everyone says all the time, it's who you know, and I strongly believe it's who knows you. So you need, when the opportunity comes up, they need to be like, oh yeah, Dre was at the panel, Matt was there, Jen, Jade, Sam. Like you want them to really think of you, and they can't think of you if they don't know you exist.